Hello, my name is Rosalind Richardson and I've been a driving instructor for 21 years. This video is about the importance of teaching the learner systems, the systems that we learned when we were training to be a driving instructor. And I still teach them as I did since the day that I was taught them. I work through all the steps like I should, because I believe in it. I think it's brilliant, and I think that the student can become independent way quicker if they learn these systems. So the first lesson after you've met, the controls lesson, right? Okay, so they know how to do the palming technique. They know how to set up their feet in the correct position to use the pedals. They know where the indicator is, the steering wheel, how to use the handbrake, all of that. But the systems are going to start, the proper systems are going to start on the first lesson, which is moving off and stopping. And they're going to be learning the systems of POM, P-O-M, prepare, observe, move. And they're going to be learning the system mirror signal maneuver, which is vitally important. I mean, all of this is important, but mirror signal maneuver is very important because it just extends and extends and extends. So it starts with mirror signal maneuver, of course, but then it changes into mirror signal position speed look, and then it changes to MSPSL, and then it changes into LADA. So it's mirror signal position speed look, look assess decide act, and it just grows and grows and grows into these systems. And it's so important that these students understand about these growing all the time and getting bigger and adding things, and they're going to become independent from this. So, and then they're going to learn on the moving off and stopping lesson, scalp as well, safe and convenient legal place to pull up on the left, of course, so important. So this video is going to hone in and talk about POM especially, and I can make other videos about MSPSL and LADA and scalp and all the rest of it. But just to make sure that the video isn't going to become too long, I'm going to focus on the prepare, observe, move aspect. Now, prepare, observe, move on the first lesson, whether you're going to teach it in a car park or on the road. I teach on the road straight away, but I do understand that this can happen in a car park as well. But prepare, observe, move is the entire moving off system that they're always going to use, whether it's in a car park, whether it's on the side of the road, whether it's coming up to and leaving a roundabout from stationary, is leaving a traffic light, leaving a complex junction, you know, going into it. So it's so important they know how to do this. Prepare is, the word prepare is going to contain two things: setting the gas at the amount of gas that is suitable for what they're doing, whether it's a flat road or whether it's on a hill. And then they're going to find the biting point carefully and understand what it is and what it feels like. And then they're going to be holding that still. So prepare with the gas, find the biting point. And there is skills in there that they need. They need to know what the rev counter is. They need to know how to use the palming technique to get into the gear properly. They need to know what the engine sounds like and what it looks like when they find the bite, the front of the car needs to lift. They need to know about the handbrake holding the back two tyres so the front of the car lifts up. So it's a very detailed piece of system, and I think it's brilliant. Then, of course, observe. They're going to do their 6-point check. So they're going to have to learn about their blind spots. So there's going to have to be a picture. They're going to have to know how to set their mirrors up correctly first, so then they can understand that blind spots are not covered by their mirrors. And then the move aspect, they need to know how the handbrake moves properly, and how they release it properly to be able to get it down. Whether they've got a automatic handbrake, whether they've got a stick handbrake. I like having the stick handbrake the most, because I think if you know how to use one of these, the automatic one is a lot easier, but that's my preference anyway. So prepare, you're going to be setting the gas if you're on a flat at about 1,500 revs. And then if you're on a hill, it's advisable to set the gas at 2,000 revs. So there's more oomph in the car, there's more power in the car. And then the clutch is going to go down for the second part of the prepare. They're going to palm into first gear. with their palming technique. So they're putting the palm in the right place. That needs to be another video. So palming technique, and then they're going to lift up to around about halfway up on the clutch pedal. And they're going to have to do that delicately to begin with, because they need to hear and listen. They need to feel what happens to the car when the clutch plates come together. In the controls lesson, hopefully the whole clutch would have been explained, so that they know that the clutch plates are going to be touching when they find the biting point. You're going to be able to tell them that the front of the car will lift up when they find the biting point, because the back two tyres are being held with the handbrake and the front of the car lifts up slightly. They're going to be able to know and be taught that if there is a creaking noise, it means that we're actually moving now, because the wheels are turning around the brakes at the back and making a creaking noise that shouldn't be there. Maybe they need to dip the clutch down a little bit there so we don't have the creaking. Or maybe there's a moaning noise that starts to happen, which has gone too far. Or maybe we're actually moving forward as well, which is too far. We need to get them to dip the clutch down. Or perhaps we just go straight to the stall because their foot slipped. That's a common thing. Their foot slips and they just come off, or they just bring it up too quickly. So, and that takes a while to get used to. And it's just constantly praising. That feels right. You know, well done. That feels good. That's the correct biting point. And then getting them to keep their feet still. Understanding that when they find the biting point, that the revs will probably drop. So, and they need to add that gas back. It's almost like the biting point steals away the energy of the accelerator, and they need to add those revs back. So that's prepared. That all in itself, that can take some time to like really understand that. And then they need to keep their feet still at this stage. They need to understand that they're going to hold the steering wheel 10 to 2. They're going to understand, because of your teaching in the controls lesson, that they're going to be checking their blind spots before moving off, and they're going to be doing a 6-point check. Left blind spot, left mirror, look forward, interior mirror, right mirror, and finally right blind spot. And then it can be explained to them that they're not going to be doing it in a robotic way. They're going to do it in a flowing way, to look for danger, looking for risk at all times, to make sure that there is as little risk as possible, or they are aware of any type of risk, and they can make good decisions about going. Then there's going to be a conversation about whether there's going to be a signal to move off. Is it going to frighten anyone? Is it necessary? Because then the POM routine, the POM, could even turn into POSM, POSM, signal. Is there going to be a signal? We shouldn't signal if somebody's behind us coming up, because we're going to frighten them. We don't want them to stop. Well, not traditionally. If there's just one car or two, we want them to go past us. We don't want to signal when they're coming up, because we don't want them to stop and freak out behind us. So we're going to watch them in the mirror, and then when they've passed us, then we can continue with our checks. We can signal to the right and make sure that we're now signaling to alert the people in front of us. And then if it's still safe, we're then going to release the handbrake and keep our feet still. We need to stay on that biting point for around about 2 car lengths. If the student moves their feet at this stage, they might stall. If they release the handbrake and the car doesn't move, then perhaps they need to lift up their clutch £0.5 coin, just that little bit, to create a trickle of movement. At this stage, you know, I say to them, it's like turning a tap on. You need to turn the tap on so the little trickle comes out, tiny little trickle, because we know that behind the tap there's a lot of water and it's all going to come out. So turning the tap on, we need to do it carefully so we don't get splashed. So we need to lift up to the biting point and hold that tiny little trickle of a biting point. The car will trickle forward, and we need to stay on that biting point for about 2 car lengths. And the car accepts the gear, and we can get used to that feeling of acceptance. And then when that happens, then we can come off the clutch completely, and then we can just drive with the accelerator, or perhaps we're not even going to press the accelerator at all, because the car will just rest on the gear and the student can relax a little bit, but the foot can be covering the accelerator, just covering it, ready to press it. And when they're ready and they're feeling a bit more confident, then they can press it. And that is the prepare, observe, move routine. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It takes time to get that system into the student. But then in the end, you can, after you talk through and you've done it a few times, and then you can say, prepare the car. So you're going into your prompted, instead you're coming down a stage to get them to independency. You're leaving talk through, you're going into to prompted. Prepare the car, set the gas, find the bike, or prepare the car. Yeah, it probably will start with prepare the car, set the gas, find the bike. Then as they get used to that, prepare the car. Observe, 6-point check to begin with. Don't forget to look forward. They always forget to look forward. Checking over. And then observe. So you don't have to say 6-point check anymore. So you're dropping down the prompted each time, like a staircase. I'm dropping it down, checking all the way around. And then, is it safe to move? Yes, I see no risk. Handbrake down, right? Or, is it safe to move? Yes, but there's people around. Do we need a signal? Yes. Is there anyone behind you? No, or they're far enough away. Signal. Is it safe to move? Yes. Handbrake down with the correct use of the handbrake. So it is prepare, observe, move. Love it. I'm a complete believer in teaching the systems very, very carefully. And I keep to it. And I have done for nearly 21 years. And I always do it the same. This has been a very, very detailed video on prepare, observe, move. And of course, I can do it for the other ones as well. And I probably will. But this has just been prepare, observe, move. So I hope that's helpful. And good luck with teaching.